when I just watched the clip, I saw it completely differently. I just thought the guy's just bang out of order. He's just wrong. But watching it in context, it changed it slightly, but still not to excuse what was done or said, if that makes sense.
I know, I can totally understand what you mean because, like, you know, when me and Nads, we had a whole discussion on it, and Sticky, actually, you were present as well, and we decided not to air that episode because of the things that were said. We didn't have enough context, and we were coming from a place of empathy. I will be putting some clips up. I will clip it down because there's some really good content in there, but where we were coming from a place of empathy and two people who know him and have been in his company, it was really hard to judge a situation because when I watched it initially, I just saw a man that was coming from a very dark place, who was very hurt, who was, you know, had a lot of trauma from being in relationships with black women. And it's understandable. You can't take somebody else's, you know, experiences away from them. Listen, most of the listen, some of the bad experience I've had in my life has mostly been with black men. I'm not even gonna lie. But if I treated everybody else based on the experiences I had, if I treated other men, then it wouldn't be a good place and it wouldn't be, I'd be as bitter as him. You can't be bitter with him. I think the one bit I did kind of agree with what he said when he said that you lot don't listen in regards to black women. And this is what I got pulled up on in my response to it. It's true. I've been at events. I've been in situations where a black man will stand up and speak his truth and black women will absolutely kick off. We're the most triggered. We're easy to trigger as well. And I think people have lost sight of having emotionally intelligent conversations about these things. Yeah, he was bang out of order. Like he had no right in. He just literally went off on one, didn't he? He spazzed out. He went mad and whatever. But if we take all of that away, then you can see that he's blatantly hurt. I think he's got some healing to do. He's got some inner work to do. I think he was in a space that he is not used to that kind of environment. He's not a podcaster. He hosts Pen Game. Like there's a big difference. And I think if you are somebody who's not familiar with those settings, you're gonna get triggered. Let's be real. Black Chat is not a platform that is positive. It's not a platform that you know, it doesn't promote anything that you can take away and think, oh, you know, that was great. It's straight up and down toxic. So I just think due to environment, people, you know, the people who are there, no, it makes good content, doesn't it? As we said before. But it's just, I don't know, how is he going to come back from that? And obviously, they've let him go from Pen Game, haven't they? And I don't know, like, is that a bit harsh? Or is it kind of saving grace? Because those people have to protect their platform. They have to protect, because look at the backlash. Look at how society has responded to him kicking off and going, you know, all out. If it was just an intelligent conversation about, you know, preferences and whatever, everyone's allowed to have their preference. Everybody is. Big up Nad to the chat. Everyone's allowed to have their preference. But yeah, Sticky, go on.
I mean, as you mentioned preference, I think it's a good segue into the actual question. I'm going to read the question. I'm going to read some of the comments, and I'll come to you both. Right. So the visual question that was posted by Mr. NGBantz, himself, is, and again, and obviously it was stemmed from that whole, you know, situation prior that you mentioned, is if you consistently date outside of your race, is that down to self-hatred or just preference? I'll say it again. If you consistently date outside of your race, is that down to self-hatred or just preference? So guys in the chat, want to find that out. I'll say it one more time just to make sure that you heard me correctly and you're thinking about it. And I'll read some of the messages and I'll come to you both, right? So the question again is, for the third and final time, I'm going to say it more than that. And again, big up to what do you say, St. Kitts? That's Independence this week, yeah?
Yes.
All Islanders. Anyway, if you consistently date outside of your race, is that down to self-hatred or just preference? So let me read some messages. Blue Rodriguez says, it was easy to see he was speaking from a place of trauma before he lost control. Also says, one of the first mistakes is being that vulnerable in a room full of people that don't care about him. Okay, fair enough. People are equally traumatized. Okay. And then there's a lack of self-control. Also says, Backchat is ridiculously toxic from guests to producers. Naz says, blessings, guys. Let's catch up. And she's got the popcorn ready. Alchemist at 1986, evening, guys, and a wavy hand like so. I don't know why I waved my hand, to be honest with you. So anyway, that was a bit weird, isn't it? See, I insult myself before you guys insult me. Anyway,
I'm holding back. I'm saving it.
It's because you're from a small island. Is that why? Anyway, we won't go there about small island people. I told you, it's 27 of you, and you're all cousins. You know what I mean? That's across the whole of the Caribbean.
Oh, shit. I'm going to put that clip out so you can get the smoke, yeah? Because there's big petitions out there, Sticky.
Do you know what, right? Before I come with you, NGBantz, about that topic, right? You know what? Funny you say that. Someone posted something. I can't remember what island it was. One of them islands, right? And I made a comment about small island people. The way that people start coming at me in the comments, I was like, hang on a minute.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
You do realize, I can't remember what island it was. They're like, how dare you? It's just had like some accident happened there, or not too long ago. Was that like ain't that deep, guys? It's really not deep. I started deleting some of the comments because it was just like, are you guys for real? Like, are you guys okay? Like, you know, I'm joking, right?
There we go, invalidating other people's feelings again.
Anyway, Mr. NGBantz, as it's the topic that you actually originally posted and shared a video of it, I just wanted to get kind of your response, view, point of view on that one.
Yeah, so obviously in the video that I did, once again, just for anyone that's just come in, apologies. I've got man flu, so I sound a bit, just under the weather. But anyway, in the video which I did, I spoke about when I was younger, why when I was younger at the time, I didn't really date black women, and when I've got older and I've reflected and I could really understand the reasons why, to me personally, I feel it was self-hatred.
Okay.
But the reason why I said that was just because of my experience growing up with like just my mum, who's a single mum in the household. So it was like she was mum and dad. So that experience with just a black woman and then living in a pretty white area and going to a white school, it all just kind of skewed my perception of things at that time. So when I was younger, yeah, like up until I was probably like 20, like it was just, I had no interest at all. Actually, I'll tell a lie, it would have been 19 because things changed when I went to Jamaica. I'll be real. I went to Jamaica for 4 weeks when I was 19.
Okay.
And I was just like, what? Yeah, I fell in love pretty much every single day. So it was like, things just changed. Yeah, things changed from there. And then as I got older and like life just broadened and like experiences, yeah, like, things just changed. But when I speak about my younger self, I definitely feel it was more down to self-hatred because I was almost conditioned at the time not to like things that were black, or the only sort of things that I could really see from like outside influences of blackness were all like negative stereotypes.
Okay.
Like just from like my school sort of experience and stuff. So yeah, it was quite a confusing time, like growing up.
Is the screen frozen for you guys?
I can hear you guys clearly.
Yeah, same. I can see and hear clearly.
So it is Nads and Blue Rodriguez. They need to like sort of the Wi-Fi. They need to pay the Wi-Fi bill. You know what I mean?
Let me check. I'll check now to see if it's Oh no, it's fine. It's fine on
it's
my end.
They need to pay for the Wi-Fi. They pay for the bill.
Troublemakers, they are troublemakers.
Yeah. So that's a shallow event.
Well, yeah,
Not frozen for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying that to me is why, to me personally, I feel like it was slightly more down to self-hatred than just preference. I don't really know if preference really applies in this sort of way, like, because to me, like when you speak on a preference, like I don't really know if just skin tone is just like what you'd go for in a person. Like you tend to go for a person that there's more qualities is what that you're attracted to, but you would say is more your preference and just sort of going for skin tone or facial features, in my opinion anyway. So that's I don't really know if, to me, if preference really applies. And how we use it, but
I
I
mean,
get
it's
it
a tough
for
one.
content. Like,
I think it's a tough one because, you know, when we talk about preference, yeah, it depends, like you said, where we're coming from. If we've been grown up in environments like, because I've had enough arguments with, I never forget, I was out one time in London and this guy said to me, he said, "Oh, you're so lovely for a black woman, aren't you?" And I was like, "Huh? What? Say that again." And he said, "Oh, you're actually really lovely for a black woman. You speak nicely, you blah, 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 blah." He goes, "I can tell from your accent, you know, from London, that must be it." And he said, "You know, black women in London are just horrible." And I was like, wow. And I actually stood there and had a whole 2 hour conversation with him. You know, the women around me were kicking off and everything and going at him. And I said, no, you know, sometimes, like, do you know when a person makes a statement, yeah? It's you can either look at it, you can either argue the toss with them, yeah, because it's not going to change their mind. That's their preference, or if that's their opinion. But it's good to have these kind of conversations to learn as to why. And you know, the reasons he gave was black women are loud, they don't listen, they're demanding, they want this, they want that, and they never take accountability for how they act. And it kind of got me thinking, and I was telling him, you know, I've had some shit experiences with black men. I've only ever dated predominantly black men. I think I dated a little Asian one time. He was lovely, but just didn't work out. So, you know, I've always dated black men. Sticky, what's going on? You all right? Well, because I said a little Asian. Yeah, listen, I watch that varieties and spice of life. But, yeah, I really had to look at myself and say, well, why is it that I've had fucked up situations with black men? And it's the type of black men I'm going for. It's me. I'm the problem. I would pick, because when I look at them and I look at the pattern, it's the same guy, yeah, in just in different bodies. They have the same traits, the same fuckery, the same whatever, yeah? And that's a me problem. That's down to me. I have to take accountability. I look at certain, you know, men and think, oh, I can fix them. I can raise their vibration. I can make them better. It's not down to you for you to do that. Yeah. At the end of the day, yeah, you're going to meet people and they're going to come with problems. It is what it is, isn't it? But you know, when you start seeing a pattern, the problem is you. So I think, you know, as much as we can have certain experiences, so, but, you know, back to Ginger J, he said he's had nothing but bad experiences with black women. What type of black woman was he attracting? What type of black women was he with? I think it's more on the person, on how they act, because not everybody's the same.
I agree. I agree with that part. But you know, on what you both said about preference and stuff like that, as you're both speaking, I was thinking to myself, actually, is there such thing as preference? I think NGBantz said it when he was finishing. Is there such thing as preference? And the reason why I asked that question is, as I always said, I've said for the last few years, right? In fact, before I say my point, this guys, if you're just joining in, remember the question is, if you consistently date outside of your race, is that down to self-hatred or just preference? So, guys and girls in the chat, let us know what you think. I don't know anymore because the question I ask myself is when I think of interracial relationships. I say this all the time. I hope I'm quite consistent on this. When it comes to interracial relationships, I never have an issue with people that have interracial relationships. Right? It's not a problem. There's not good or bad. It's whatever. The issue that I do have though is when people mention race early on in interracial relationships. So if you talk about preference, if you are, regardless of what race you are, what side you're on, if you mention race at the forefront, it's like, well, hang on, why did you mention race? Yeah. I don't want someone to date me say, oh, you're a black man, or I don't even want you to mention black. Just you like me for me, or you don't like me for me. Yeah, but either like me or dislike me for me, not because I like black culture or I like dancehall music or you know, you like Jamaican food, or obviously Jamaica's the only real country in the Caribbean, of course, as we already know, right? But you know, I don't want to hear none of that stuff. I just want to hear you like me. You spoke to me. You like me. We had a good vibe. What have you? But when people mention race, that's when I usually have an issue with it because I'm like, well, why is race at the forefront of the conversation? Yeah, that's why I'm not sure if there's such thing as a preference. I don't know anymore. I'm borderline. Because if a lady that's white says that my preference is black men, I'm going to question it. I'm like, why? Yeah, if you say you like me for me, then it's okay, cool. We can talk.
Yeah, I think it's weird. And Blue just said, I think you can genuinely have a preference without it being self-hate. Yeah, I do as well. People like who they like, don't they? But I just think that you know, from the time you have to bring race into it, there's clearly a problem somewhere. You know, one of my white friends, she went out on a date with a guy, and he told her, "I don't date black women." He was a black guy, and he said, "I don't date black women because they remind me of my sisters," and you know, and stuff like that. Like, I was like, whoa, that's really weird. It's a weird thing to say. I think if somebody says something like that, it's a bit red flaggish. You know, when white men say to me, "Oh, I absolutely love black women. Oh, they're better than white women and stuff." And I'm like, why are you saying that? That's weird.
Alchemist in 1986 says, "I'm someone who dates outside of my race." Also, in brackets, have no problem dating black women either. And I think it's condescending to automatically assume it's self-hate because you date outside of your race. It's fair enough. Just put on there, we weren't saying that it's self-hatred. We're just asking the question, is it or not? So just to make sure that's clear, right? I hope you don't think that we were.
And also,
Nad says, go on, sorry.
No, I was just saying that every time I speak, I'm only speaking from my own personal experience.
Yeah.
And like what. So that's why I'm not trying to speak for anyone else. So I'm saying, to me, when I look back, to me it was. But that doesn't mean it has to be for. If you don't feel it is, it's not an issue. But for me, I know when I look back and I'm honest, I know it was down to a bit of self-hatred.
No, I get it.
Glam Chat Naz says, "Race shouldn't be the forefront, but let's be real, it's the reality." Blue Rodriguez agrees. And Naz also says, "I only dated white men in my younger years, but that before I fully embraced my culture. Now I love them all, mate. Milk chocolate and dark chocolate." Madame, Monsieur Senor Sticky Fingerz. Hey. Vavavoom.
What about this thing? I want to ask something as well. What about this whole thing, you know, if you've had bad experiences with the opposite race and then you turn to, you know, another. So say, for instance, me, I've had bad experiences with black men, and then I turn to white men and say, well, it never worked out with my own, so I'm going to hop over to the other side. Is there anything wrong with saying that?
Yes. I'm going to answer that question, yes.
Okay.
I'll tell you why there's a problem with that, right? Because we're now
I'm not saying that's what I think. I'm just asking.
No. Yeah, no, I wasn't saying you. I wasn't even assuming that. But now you said it and you got me questioning now. Yes, I would say so. And the reason why I'd say so, because that's assuming that the problem that you had with those partners was down to their race. It's almost like me saying, I had dated a woman, it didn't go very well, so I'm dating a man. Because all women are the same. Because all women are the same, aren't they? Yeah, you see what I mean? So, no, I wouldn't say that. Someone said, oh, I had a bad experience with... Like, you know, like I watched Pop the Balloon the other day, right? I'm going a bit left here. The woman popped her balloon because she said the guy was bald, yeah? She said, I had a bad experience with bald men before. I said, what the... what are we doing here? Like, because he was bald. So you say, you're not dating any more bald men. The problem wasn't clear. The breakdown relationship wasn't because of his hair, the hair follicles, you know what I mean? So if a woman said, oh, I'm dating another side because I had bad experience, well, the issue wasn't because of the amount of melanin or lack of melanin in someone's body. It was the personality that, you know, you guys didn't work out, or communication, or the lack of effective communication. So, no. I don't buy that at all. Nad says, shut it, Sticky. Obviously, my French is, you know, I'm perking up my French a bit, you know what I mean? She speaks French as well and all that. Alchemist at 1986 says, yeah, I know you guys ain't saying so. I know you're posing the question. Excellent. I'm just saying it, that suggestion in general. Okay, I just pose as a question in general. Okay, fair enough. Nazel says, we attract what we want, but it doesn't work out. It's not down to the race of the person. It's the personality trait that continues to be attracted.
Yes.
I see the way Naz looks at me sometimes, you know. She's like, hey, Sticky, hey.
She do a little bit. She do. I'm gonna kind of just pacify you, Stick, and agree and say, yeah, she does. Definitely does.
The thing is, I see NGBantz is like, I'm too sick for this shit. Like, why you?
I know. NGBantz is like, do you know what? I was on this, but then I got sick, and I'm just like, shit. But it's like, you caused the problems, NGBantz. You put the post out. No, but you know, when I saw your post, I thought it's, you know, it's good. It's really good when a man is able to be that vulnerable and actually speak on his experiences on the internet, because the internet is one weird and fucked up place, and people just if they really, really, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a keyboard warrior thing or if it's because I'd love to get all these people in a room in real life. It would be dead quiet, you know. Nobody would have smoke for anybody, would they? But I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I definitely play. Don't worry, Naz. I'm only playing with you. Only playing with you, girl. We know you love Sticky Anna. But
Of course.
I just think, yeah, do you know what? I mean, shit, I'm gonna go over to the white side of life, I think. I'm joking, I'm joking. Listen, all people are from all backgrounds. You know, there's good in every single race. There's good quality people. Do you know what I mean? So it's we cannot like, you know, trash talk our men if we're black women or, you know, whatever. I don't like that. That's the one part I don't like is when, you know, black women trash talk black men. I mean, don't get it twisted. I get it sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, I've been that close, but I just wouldn't do it. I just would no, honestly, because sometimes they make it hard for us. Get me, especially when you see how they act online and you see all the foolishness and everything. But I just still wouldn't do it. I don't think it's worth it. I think it's worth having emotionally intelligent conversations, yeah, to try and work out what it is. Because all this men versus women, women versus men, black women versus black men, it needs to stop.
I think
Actually,
one of the things that gets overlooked, I think, a lot of the times, we use black as just like a blanket term. Like,
yeah,
when like obviously it's not a monolith. There's so many different cultures and different people that come underneath that umbrella of black. So it's hard, and obviously online we get influenced by a lot of like Black America stuff, which
yeah.
culturally is very different to like what we're like over here and our experience and stuff. So I think it can get, sometimes the discussion gets a little bit confused, like when we're bashing down on people. So you're right, it's stupid. We should stop it. But then I won't be able to post things and get the engagement. So yeah, keep it
Yeah, I
down.
suppose it's true. I mean, it's all for content, right? It's all for the clickbait. You know what I'm saying?
Blue Rodriguez says, I think consistent poor experiences can open people up to dating less exclusively to their own race. Okay, but again, as I said, I don't think race is the factor. I don't think race is the key component in there. Lack of effective communication, definitely. Alchemist 1986, so actually, Nad says, you play too much Chidzz. I think talking about that, you should have Sticky probably, but she does. Alchemist 1986 says, self-hate is to hate self. Your race is a limited part of self. Sorry, let me read that again. Self-hate is to hate self. Your race is a limited part of self than your actual self, which is, in my opinion, far more multidimensional than just your race. Okay.
Yeah.
Awakening My Heart Through My Soul says, all about mindset for me. Although my father was white and my mother was black, so I am patchwork quilts of cultures. So I guess I have never thought about skin color. Big love. I think she's all the way in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah, she is.
Gina Bayliss. Oh, speaking of Baileys, right? I saw a new Baileys today. I was in Sainsbury's. I saw a brand new Bailey. I can't remember which one I saw. I was like, oh, I'm going to try that. Anyway, I digress. Says there's one race, the human race. Nice and simple. Can't argue with that. Nad says, big up NGBantz for talking on his experience. I fully rate you. Vibe0723 says, I've always been with people outside my own. One reason being because my own people's never approached me like that. Ooh.
Ooh, interesting.
So another take on it. Do you, okay, if you want to jump on, let us know your views on that one, explore that a bit more.
Yeah.
Gina Bailey says, one love. Jules says, Sticky Fingerz the greatest. I don't know where I saw that, but I'm sure I saw that somewhere. Lustrous UG says, yes, we need to stop putting each other down. Definitely 100%. Anne Marie 33 says, as Will Smith said as Will Smith said, black, white, Cuban, or Asian.
Come
what
on.
song was that? Was it Miami? Was that Miami?
Yeah. Into the heat is on that one, isn't it? Welcome to Miami.
You can tell we like music over here. Alchemist 1986 says, I feel people are more true to their race than they are true to themselves, and people identify with race being more self than their individual multi-dimensional self. I'm not sure what I mean by that, but to explain. Okay, good. I'm glad you do, because I don't. And Naz is agreeing with, obviously speaking to Gina Bailey, for real, hun. But our real issues stem from classism rather than actual racism. Because in the real world, people are open to multiculturalism. Big up the Baileys. Oh yeah, I said I haven't seen what Baileys. I saw a new Baileys. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember. I should have bought it, but you know when you're leaving the store, I'm like, for me to go back and queue up again. I was like, no, I've got things to do. I've got a place to go. So yeah. I think that's all the messages for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. I think it's always going to be an ongoing conversation. It's always going to be something that comes up, regardless of what we do or what we speak about online. But I just think we just have to. It's about people digging deeper within themselves and actually finding out who they are at their core, the things that have traumatized them, the things that have, that they need to heal from, the issues that they have, and stop projecting it onto the outer world. I think it's too much bullshit going on in the world as it is. Why are we adding to it every single day with these foolish conversations? Because they are foolish, and look what it causes. Like the whole Ginger J situation has caused an absolute uproar. And that man's mental health is probably shot to pieces, yeah? People say, they beg to differ, he's bad mind, he's this, that, and the other. But regardless, he's a human being with emotions. And as we evidently saw, he's got emotions. You get me? So we have to be mindful and careful about the way that we approach these conversations. Yes, when people are out of order, we can call them out on their bullshit, but there's ways of doing it. There's 100% there's ways of doing it. And I just think we as a society now, especially the Black community, we are not about coming together. There's a whole division. And the whole thing is like Black men versus Black women. I just want to know, when are we going to come away from that? It doesn't matter what a Black man's preference is. It doesn't matter what a Black woman's preference is. Just have respect for each other, because you lot come from the same stock, whether you like it or not. And it's just like, do you know what? I was having a conversation with a mixed race person the other day, and I was like, how do you feel about this whole thing? And they said, and I quote, fuck both of them. I don't care. Do you get me? I'm staying in my own lane. I'm good. I'm either side. I don't really care. I actually don't care. Sticks, do you want to read some of these comments? Because they're really good.
I will do. All right, Rose C84. By the way, Rose C84 and myself went to school together. We were in 11A. We're actually from 7A to 11A. But, well, it's a guy. It's a guy.
It's a guy. What is it, Rose?
Ro.
Oh, Ro. Oh, poor guy. Big up, Ro. When school with you.
Right. Yeah. Race isn't the defining factor. It's all about the connection you have with the person in question. I also have dated many different races, but ultimately didn't marry a Black woman. My wife is mixed. Marcus Dempsey says, do we focus too much on race and not enough about upbringing, personality, and what individuals bring to a relationship? Yes. We have a wider problem where men are being raised to be men. I don't know what I mean. We have a wider problem where men are being raised to be men. Okay, or I think they might be trying to say not being raised to be men, possibly.
Maybe aren't, maybe potentially.
Chidzz, I just see he's been all up in the comments, clapping back and doubling down. Yikes! Talking about Ginger J. Yet he responded to someone in the comments. But I can't say I blame the man. If you're gonna keep terrorizing the guy, that's what he is at this moment in time. What would you expect? He's gonna clap back at some point.
Yeah.
Rose 84 says the media has also played a role in how we perceive things. TV would always show the lighter skin tone to be more widely accepted, the black skin tone being aggressive and ghetto. Absolutely.
You know what? I totally agree.
Alex Houghton says, do we lack leadership in our community?
Yes, Alex, that is a question. I think that is a big question. Do we lack leadership in our community? Yeah, everybody just wants to be the big dog, innit? Everyone just wants to be seen, heard, instead of actually somebody taking a stand and say, listen, this is what we're not going to do. Nobody ever says that. Everyone's competing, I feel. Everyone wants to be loud about it. We just need somebody who's cool, calm, and collected. I think it's just, do you know what? I'm not even going to lie. Do you know what? Like, I don't even fuck with the black community where I live. And a lot of people do say, now say it straight, and I'm in my honesty around what fuck. And the reason why, because everyone's too inner, everyone's too integrated in not a nice way, and also as well, they don't support each other. There's no actual community. Like, there's a community, don't get me wrong, but it's the smile in your face, talk behind your back kind of thing. And it's just like, there's the jealousy and the, you know, it's weird. And this is what I find within it. Don't get me wrong, there's certain areas and whatever where it's really, you know, it's nice and you see black people come together and it's beautiful. But how authentic is it? I just don't feel it's authentic these days, unless you've got a group of people that you went to school with and you've grown up with yet, and you lot are tight like that. I just like, see me, I'm just not. Since doing this podcast and stuff, I'm really, it's put me off like meeting new people. It really has, because it's so toxic. It's really, really bad. Everyone competing with each other, and especially in the black community, when we should be coming together and actually supporting each other. Really, it's so weird.
I mean, some of the questions. Right. So Marcus Dempsey says, "Sorry, I meant to say boys are not being raised to be men to take care of the household and the values of family." I'm going to come back to both of those comments actually.
Okay.
Alex Houghton says, "I've seen a post that a black man can't take the stance of leadership in our community if his partner isn't black. Thoughts on what black women think on that?" So you'd have to ask the ladies of that one. Ladies in the chat, respond to that if you wish. Fiona Bailey says, "I don't think it's leadership that's lacking, it's community," which I agree. So I'm going to go back to these questions, right? So the question that Alex Houghton posted is, do we lack leadership in our community? And Marcus Dempsey saying, I meant to say boys are not being raised to be men to take care of the household and the values of family. So I'm going to come back to both of those 2 points. The question I'm going to pose to both Alex and Marcus, what does that look like to you? So to Alex, for example, he's saying, do we lack leadership in our community? Well, my question to you is, what does leadership in the community look like to you?
Yeah.
So instead of us saying the words, was it like an actual practice? Because I don't believe in it. Like Gina Bailey says, I don't believe in it. I think it starts from household. I think you need to have self-respect in your household. And what's what I'm looking for? You know, like when I was a kid, obviously I'm still a kid now, I'm a big kid, right? But when I was growing up, there were certain things that you could do and couldn't do, certain things you could get away with, certain things you couldn't. And one of the things that my family hated was embarrassment.
Yeah.
Like my mum would say, "Don't embarrass me." Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you go to someone's house as a kid and the person says, "Oh, would you like a drink?" Your mum's telling you no before you even said no. This time you're probably dry as anything. No, he's eating, he's had a drink already. They don't want embarrassment. Whereas the generation now, they talk about anything and everything online. What they did, with who they did it with, what they didn't do, what, you know, what's going on, what they're going to do. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm asked that question. What does leadership in your community look like to you? And to Marcus Dempsey, I'm going to ask you the same question. Well, slightly different. He says, boys are not being raised to be men and take care of the household and the values of family. So what does being raised as a man, what's the role of a man? What would define a boy going to a man or manhood? What makes him a man? What's the definition? What defines me as a man? So I want to put that out to you.
Guys, so what if you come up, write in paragraphs in the comments? Come up, man. Come and speak your truth in it. And it's good to have these conversations.
One thing I would say, I think it's interesting you're saying about just community, society in general doesn't have anything, because I look at leadership. If you want to say white leadership in the white community, the highest level would be government. You've got a white prime minister whose leadership is terrible right now. You just look across the country, you look at everything. So I think it's a bit harsh sometimes that we try and, when we say like the black community, and we're trying to segment it off, and we're saying about the leadership there. I think it's just the world over right about now. It's everywhere is a mess. Everything's a mess. So I think it's a bit harsh sometimes that we are when we just say the black community, and it sort of comes back to what I was saying earlier as well. When we're saying black, like what are we talking about? Because like in Nottingham, for example, we've got a black Jamaican community, which is very different to the black, like the Nigerian community. Like they're very different. They do different things. Like, so is what's right for that community going to be right for that community when we're talking about leadership? Who's it we're talking about? So that's why I think I get the question, but I also don't think it is the best question just to say the leadership within the black community. I think unless we're going to look at just segmenting off, and we're going to go back to like segregation where it's just a black community and you've got your white community over there, which I don't think is where we're heading towards. So
yeah.
All right, I agree. I fully agree with what NGBantz says, actually, to be fair. Gina Belli says, it feels like there's a lot of social circles rather than community.
Yeah.
Alchemist 986 says, and I think context and back and forth reasoning is important. When Ginger said, stay in your place, could he have just been suggesting in a conversational sense and not in a whole relationship sense? Okay. Alex Newton says, no father figure. So the elders in my community sample they showed wasn't marriage or respect towards women. I don't know what they're saying. Oh wait, so the elders in my community they showed wasn't marriage or respect towards women. I don't get what you're trying to say there. So just to clarify that one. Row C84 says the problem with the black community isn't that there is too much gatekeeping. All the other communities stick together regardless. Alchemist 986 says we've all crashed out and not put proper words in their right context. And when we are looking to hurt someone, we say the most shortened, hurtful wording than the proper elaborate versions of those words. Okay.
That's right.
Alex Houghton says, I agree there is a difference I noticed within the black communities regarding Jamaicans and Nigerians. I think what, going back to NGBantz is saying, is making a, not saying it's just those two communities, but giving an example of Jamaican people in Nottingham versus, say, Nigerian people in Nottingham. I'm sure the Ghanaian community might be very different to the Gambian community, to the Portuguese community. So I think you're just trying to explain that, just to say black community is not, it's not, again, as you said earlier, we're not a monolith, so everyone's very, very different. And in fact, if you look at the Jamaican community, for example, someone who's in their 60s might have a very different view to someone who's in their 20s. So even though they're in the same community, their visions and their outlook and things are going to be completely different. So it's hard to kind of like pigeonhole everyone into one section, you know, in that sense.
You finished rambling or no? You're rambling.
Well, kind of. Do you know what it made me think about though? When we're talking about all this race stuff, I was thinking about what you said to me earlier, Chidzz, about or in the group chat about the march that happened on the weekend on Saturday with Tommy Robinson.
What are we saying, guys?
Is that a good segue? Is that a good segue into it?
It was smooth. It was smooth. I give you that. Smooth criminal, 100%. What's our thoughts on that one? What are we saying? Tommy changing up his tune, yeah?
So I think context. So I asked someone today about this, right? And they said the protest, again, please correct me if I'm wrong, right? So if I'm completely wrong, please correct me in the chat. I understand, well, I was told that the march was to do with immigration. That the party, whoever party is there, you know, they're trying to protest against immigration. There's too many immigrants in the UK. You know, you kind of hear that narrative online and stuff, taking our jobs and, you know, the NHS, this, that, and the other, and we're putting up in hotels and blah, 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 blah. So if that's my understanding of what they were protesting about. Everyone's got their own views on that one. NGBantz, going to come to you first because you're unwell. Yeah, exactly. They want to punch me.
Nah, Katie, you're literally, yeah, you're deteriorating, my brother. Like, yo.
There you go, punch someone.
He's not even with
Where's your honey and lemon and your ginger?
It's done. I was drinking it. It's done.
He's far, far away with Shrek and Fiona, guys. He's not even with us right now, you know. Oh, bless it. It's horrible when you feel ill, isn't it? But
yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah, we move. What are you saying, Tommy?
What was the question? What was
the man you know, I'm going to defend him, but I'm going to defend you for a second, right? Ladies in the chat, just so you know, when us men are sick, we get it worse than you do. Okay?
Oh, you lot are just
so like, you know.
No, lads, don't send the healing vibes. Don't do all of that, because you get me, like, these men need to just fix up. I'm sick of you black men.
Oh, you see, you went there, yeah? When we are ill, we get it worse than you women. You women get the little light cold, yeah? We get
wow.
You know, the real, yeah. Like you women will put, you know what someone said to me the other day, right? I ain't gonna name no names. But they were putting onions in their socks. They were sick and they put onions in their socks overnight. You know, but again, we weren't even gonna go there. But yeah, you women have it minor. Us men, when we get it real, you know what I mean? The real deal. So yeah. That was NGBantz there.
Do you know what it is? I thought you was asking a follow-on question with the Tommy thing. So that's right. But I do just think it's all mad. I think right about now there's that much confusion and everyone's just angry. Like, and it's all it's all been a build up over a number of years leading up to this point. I know it's not just happened overnight. You know, there's been a lot of events that have made a lot of people very, very poor, or not necessarily poor, but poorer, and
Yeah.
they're not used to it. And you know, everyone, government, they will try and do everything to point the finger at something else other than themselves. And you know, you look at how media have really stoked up a lot of things. It's bad. I mean, it's even at a point where you can get Elon Musk go on a live screen saying
Yeah.
what he said. I don't even want to repeat it because it'll probably get the live shut down. But he
Yeah.
can say that to all these people that already got their emotions worked up and angst, and then they're going to turn around when something does happen and start questioning why and then blaming something else. So then
Yeah.
you'll start turning your attention to blaming that and being angry at that, and that's not the actual issue. The people coming over on the boats, when you look at the total number of immigration, it's minute. It's minute. Like it's not affecting you, but you're putting all your focus on these people, which you know what, there may be some slight concern about some of the guys coming over. You might say, well, in my mind, logically, they should be staying back and fighting. But if you're not in the situation, you probably don't know how you would react. And so
Okay.
maybe for their situation, for them to flee, it is they've got to make the trip, come over here, get the asylum, get the family to come over. It might not all just be what you're trying to think it is. Like, so sometimes I think people just need to slow down, take a step back, just actually try and think about things, and don't just let the headlines take you, and you know, and allow the politicians to use their tactics to get you so emotionally worked up and angry about things that aren't actually your issue. It's them that. Well,
Yeah. Just not them.
that's my thoughts on it anyway.
No, I hear
No,
you.
makes
Well,
sense.
welcome, Alchemist. Thank you for joining us. 1986.
Evening,
Love that.
guys. Evening.
Yeah,
Okay.
love that. Welcome. I see your posts and
Hold
I see you're a very high vibing person, and I love that. So welcome. Yeah.
on, before
So
we go to Alchemist, hold on. Before we go to the messages quickly, before I miss them. Alex Newton says, "Man flu, real killer." Absolutely agree. Fully understands the assignment. Stacey B says, "Man flu." Again, Stacey B understands that man flu is it's mental. It's crazy. The Empty Podcast says the diversion tactics. Don't know what NGBantz is talking about. Nad says Elon is a robot and has no human emotions. He lacks empathy. It's painful to watch. Alex Newton says, "I don't understand the bigger picture regarding taking Britain back? Question mark. Mind my ignorance." Blue Rodriguez says, "Propaganda is destroying critical thinking." Naz is saying, "Politicians consistently fearmonger the British public." Gina Bailey says, "Very handsome guy on screen tonight." Oh, very handsome guys on screen tonight. I thought it was about guys, singular, like as myself, but very handsome guys on screen tonight. Obviously, she meant Sticky Fingerz number
I
one.
know. I feel honored. I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know how to behave.
Alchemist 1986, welcome.
Evening, guys. How are you?
Good evening. We're all good, thank you.
Yeah. Evening. I can't see you, but I can hear you. I don't know.
Oh, wow. It's Instagram, isn't it? It's long.
Instagram.
What? Can't you see me? No.
No,
No,
sometimes
no.
what it'll do,
It's,
it'll just like cut one person off so one person can't see everybody. It's just long.
All right. Got you. I know there's like many topics of discussion, and I was trying to write in the chat, but it only gives you a few characteristics. So I know I was missing loads of stuff that I was trying to say. But just to touch on the communication part, because in all of the madness that's kind of been going on with Ginger and just on the internet in general, I feel like communication is kind of important. Using the Ginger situation as a kind of like an example topic of discussion, I did put in the chat then about context and having back and forth conversations. And in that like situation, there was no kind of back and forth. There was just like shouting between each other.
Yeah.
And without using excuses, Ginge said what he said. he kind of has to, he made his bed, he has to lie in it. So I don't make it sound like I'm making excuses for what he's saying. But just in terms of the flow of the conversation, I felt like I've been there when I've crashed out on something, and I just put in the chat, if I'm of sound mind, I'm going to say the proper wording. I'll say it calmly. I'll say the over elaborate wording, so I almost feel like everyone's getting it. If I'm just mad and crazy, I'm probably going to say the shortened thing, the most hurtful thing, and it might not necessarily be meaning what that hurtful shortened thing is, as opposed to. So when I heard him say about you need to stay in your place, like, I heard that two ways. Stay in your place as in, like, in a relational sense, stay in your place, do as you're told. You know, it sounded mad and controlling. Or we're in the fit of a conversation, we're both not letting each other speak, like, you don't know how to stay in your place. They're two different types of stay in your place. But the over sensational will go with the stay in your place. It's men and women, controlling, shut your mouth, in a corner. Do you get what I'm saying? So if there's no, like, almost recourse, oh Ginger, what did you say? Oh girls, what did you mean? If there's none of that, then everyone's just left with their assumption of what the energy and what the emotions and what the wording said, as opposed to, actually, I didn't even ask you, what did that mean? Do you get what I mean? Like, what did that actually mean? What was your intention behind saying that? Rather
And
than
this is
just,
what I mean.
you get me?
This is what I mean about being able to have emotionally intelligent conversations. In the moment, you're just spazzing out and kicking off. Yeah, I get that, innit? But somebody has to, you have to be at a point, when you get to a certain age, you have to get to a point where you're able to assess a situation and say, do you know what is this guy really trying to say? Let's have a conversation about it. But like the Empty podcast has just pointed out, Black Chat is not the platform to have those kind of conversations. They want the clickbait, they want the content, they want the viral clip, innit? So this is why we need to have, like, intelligent like discussions about it. I just don't see, like, to me, I've seen very few, big up Respect, he spoke on it, big up NGBantz spoke on it, but there's not many that spoke on it in a way where we can have, like, a little bit of not even a resolution, but a understanding, a level of understanding. Empty podcast says listening to respond, not to understand. And that's what people do. They do that. And this is especially, I'll say it again, I got backlash for it last week, I'll have it this week, I don't give a fuck. Black women will hear certain words, and it's triggers. And I know this because I'm a Black woman myself. And I too have been that Black woman who's triggered by certain, the way a man might speak to you or the way a man might say certain things. But that's a me problem. That's for me to heal from. We should be able to have conversations without thinking, oh, do you know what? Someone's always going to say something that you don't like, innit? But it's down to you. We are the creators of our own reality. Yeah, we can control situations more than we actually see that we can. So you just got to say, all right, that pissed me off what he said, but you know what? I'm going to have a conversation with him. Because that's what I would have done. You get me? And people will say, oh, it's easy for you to see that. Nah, I've been in that situation bare times. But I'm a Black woman living in Wales, yeah? I've had many a times the madness people have said to me, and before I used to respond on a low vibing frequency and I kick off, yeah, but now I'm just like, nah, I want to learn. We have to unlearn to relearn in order to be able to sort of move forward as a collective, because what are we doing?
Let me read some of the messages quickly. Blue Rodriguez says the problem was the goal was about matching energy rather than the intention of resolution and understanding. The Empty podcast says no one explored what he did not like about his mum. Sorry, not sure of speaker's name. Think it's Alchemist, but he's spot on. Listen to respond, not to understand, as you mentioned before. Alex Houghton said, yeah, people clickbaiting for sure. Nad said he sees his mum as an empress, but doesn't like the way she behaves or speaks, displaying the negative characteristics of a Black woman in my analysis. Okay, fine.
I can attest to that.
Alex says, Black actually love Black women. Okay,
Black men.
Black men.
Black men.
Okay, Black men actually love Black women more than any other. Only negative gets pushed. Okay. Extraordinary Bree from back in the day, if you know who that is, says, "Hey, Sticky, greetings everyone." Oh, Black Man. Okay, there we go. Correct himself. This just gave you away. Extraordinary Bree used to go by the name of what was it? Chidzz, remember?
Bring
80s baby.
bring
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
80s
Anyway,
baby, and she didn't
yeah,
know little man.
yeah, yes. So I know I'm changing the topic here, guys. But I'm going to go completely left, and we're going to get back to the topic, right? But what Sidney's talking about is Extraordinary Bree. You know, we see that we know her age group and what she's in. And there's a song by Sia called Little Man. Now, if you like the UK garage, even just slightly, you know the song Little. When you hear it, the first thing you do is you're going to get one hand like that, the other hand like that, and you're going to start doing, because you know, lit, and you start going down. But she didn't know it at all. So, yeah,
Messed
you know
up,
what I mean?
Brina, messed
People,
up.
yeah, we had to like kick her off. We had to, yeah. Anyway, back to what we were saying. So, what do we back to again to the march, as I said, that happened on Saturday in central London. Tommy
Wow.
Robinson. I think they said it was. I'm seeing different numbers. One report said it was 50,000 people. Another said it was 100,000 people. Something said even more than that. But again, they were marching or protesting, apparently due to immigration. And again, I think NGBantz was saying again. Now I've forgotten the point that he made. But again, immigration is very low. But they make it seem like a very big thing. And again, you see some reports online, especially look at Twitter or X. People will lead again, like we said earlier, lead with race. People then will lead with nationality. They're like, oh, the Asian man or the Somalian man, or it's like, hang on a minute, it's just another person.
But like, you know, the thing with that though, Sticks, yeah, is like what confuses me is I had a conversation with Nads the other night, and I was saying my grandparents were immigrants. They come here, do you know what I mean? Like they did all of that, and they were happy for them to come here and work and do all their jobs and do all the shitty jobs that they didn't want to do. Do you get me? And it's like, so what we doing? I don't get it. I actually don't understand it.
In
I think it's
context, go on, sorry.
No, you go.
No, I was going to say, in context, I agree with some of what Tommy Robinson said, and that might be controversial to say. And
Okay.
in context, immigration, I'm not going to vouch for every last thing he said on every podcast, but there's certain things that he said about immigration. He's not talking about legal immigration.
Okay.
So our parents will be classed as our grandparents. My parents were born here, but our grandparents will be classed as legal immigration.
Okay.
Illegal immigration is a totally different conversation. Now, there was a guy at the protest, a black guy, and he was going around filming different people, and he managed to hook up on the next black guy who said that he works as a youth worker. Anyway, he said that he went over to Jamaica, and this is the part that I agree.
Oh, is
went
this
over to Jamaica.
Jedi's clip? Is
So,
it Jedi's clip? Is it Jedi's clip?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Jedi's. It was Jedi's.
Yeah.
So you seen that clip where
Yeah.
kind of right. So the guy said that he went over to Jamaica, the other black guy that he was interviewing, and in his head he said he kind of had a little bit, don't remember his word, paraphrasing, but he kind of had an envy that there was other races kind of taking over Jamaica. Paraphrasing again. Now, I've had this with friends where I say it's easy because we're in England and there's certain histories with England and we're from a certain background, so we can kind of say England, they're kind of getting there just these. I hope the chickens will come home to roost. We've had some of the conversations I've had, but I like to frame it. Okay, we're Jamaican. I'm Jamaican, so we go over to Jamaica, and there's Chinese, there's Indians, there's other seemingly races other than Jamaican, you know, predominantly Jamaican heritage who own certain resources over the Jamaican people there. If they are getting, let's say, houses over the Jamaican people there, they're getting certain resources over the tax-paying Jamaican people over there, are you going to be happy? Now, I know there's a bigger thing than just immigration with this whole thing, but as I said, conceptually speaking. So then when I think about it here, I go, as Jamaican as my people are, I'm English. And I've been here since morning. So I've been paying tax since morning. I've been doing certain things since morning. So I'm not happy that someone from, it don't matter where they are, they could be even Jamaican. If a Jamaican person comes over here, they shouldn't be getting preference over me, who's been here and earning his keep regardless. So it's easier because it's the Eastern European, this, that, and the third. I will say even a Jamaican. If a Jamaican comes over here, born and bred in Jamaica, over me, whose heritage is Jamaica, but I'm English, he or she don't deserve preference over the resources on this land than I do. That don't make no sense. So
can I challenge you on that, Alchemist?
Go on.
I challenge that. So I'm gonna break it down, right? And again, just for those in the chat,
or
those listening, whoever, it's gonna be a respectful challenge, right? And even too, it's a respectful challenge, okay?
Yeah.
So you start off by saying legal immigrants and illegal immigrants. Let's break it down for a second. What do we class as a legal immigrant and an illegal immigrant?
That's a good question. So the legal immigrant, from the perspective that's floating around, is the person that's just coming on a boat, don't have the papers, not checked in, but once you've got on here, now they're eligible for certain things, A, B, C, D, F, and G. You've come in, you've got war-torn country, or you've been asked to come in, you're now seen as a legal immigrant, paperwork through the system,
So let's break it down then. So we're saying the defining factor what makes someone legal or illegal is if they've got a passport or a certificate to say they can be here or not.
That would be the concept, yeah.
Which is fine. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just trying to break it down, because now we're going to break down what's the issue of someone has a certificate, someone who doesn't have a certificate. So what makes one person okay to be here and the other person not okay to be here? Like what are those individuals doing or not doing that causes an issue?
It's a good question. I don't know. I don't know because I don't have that issue.
Is it that one person's taking the piss? One person's taking the piss and one person's not? That's what I mean. How do we differentiate between the two?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why I asked the question, man. Give me some context. I had this debate with a friend of mine, right? And a friend of mine, is similar to us. Their families from Caribbean, grandparents and what have you, right? So we're all in the same generation, right? Mm-hmm. And they were saying, immigrants and this, that, and the other. And I was like, well, let's break down what the issue is about someone who's an immigrant, all right? Again, because an immigrant is someone who's just not born here. And again, as Alchemist said, we're going to define them by if they have got a certificate to say they're allowed to be here, or paperwork of some description say you can be here, versus someone who doesn't. But again, my question went back to what's the problem? What is that individual? What problem? What is that person doing or not doing that you either like or dislike, or in this case, dislike? Because then they were saying, they're taking our jobs. Well, so the problem then, lack of jobs, because if you look at jobs, if it's again something they talk about a lot, they're taking out jobs. Well, I've seen lots of people who come over to the country working in the toilets in a nightclub. Is that the job that you're looking for? I've seen people cleaning the streets. Is that the job you're looking for? I've seen people do jobs, cleaning jobs. Is that the job that you want? So what jobs is it that we're talking about? If I go on Indeed or Rightmove, not Rightmove, what am I going to Rightmove from? If I go on Indeed or Total Jobs, there are plenty of jobs on there. So is it a case of they're taking out jobs that you want? Probably not. Then they talk about they're giving you hear about they're saying the immigrants are terrorizing our women and stuff like that. Well, actually, so the problem isn't that they're an immigrant. The problem now is that they are troubling women. That's nothing to do with immigrant. That's not to do with an immigrant. That's a problem with the individual. So it doesn't matter if they got a paper, a certificate or not. That's irrelevant. That's why I'm asking the question. What issues do we have with those who have a certificate or paperwork to say they can or can't be here? Because what are they doing that you dislike?
I agree, and that's what I said contextually. To take away the stereotype of what those marching for, there's many different things. I just kind of said, okay, because at one stage I just thought my man's just a racist, and I just don't like him. Yeah. Until I had a white friend who said, you've been mediaized, you've been manipulated. So I had an argument with this guy for like 2 years. Anyway, I came back from it. I listened to the arguments and I said, okay, here's probably another way that I would put where I would agree. And I'm not saying this is one of his arguments. I'm not saying this is one of his full arguments, but I just looked at it from this aspect. If I live in a certain area and that certain area caters for in dental care, in schooling, in shops, in the resources around that area, and it caters for 1,000 people. If I had another 200 people in there, if those 200 people are on the waiting list behind me, then I'm okay that those 200 people that come in. And like I said, this could be even Jamaican. I want to use Jamaican. I don't want to put this to Eastern Europeans. I want to just, I want to put this to my own people even.
Because it's real.
Jamaica. Go on, sorry.
It's real and it's relevant to all cultures.
Yeah,
it's not
relevant to all cultures.
You know.
Can I just
so
say
if the 200 people come in and it slows down me getting those resources, or it slows down my dental or NHS care, or I can't get my kids in school, that's a real problem. That's nothing to do with race. That's an economic thing. And I think whilst the race part of it's been, it's kind of like the white man versus the Eastern European man or wherever, it's been put as a race thing. When we just look at it as economics, me as a black man, I'm saying even if the Jamaican man comes over and that is the dynamic, I'm gonna have an issue, because you've got to be in the waiting line, because I wouldn't expect to go over to your country and do the same. But me saying that, I know that's not the only argument in it. So I don't want to make it, I don't want to seem ignorant, like, oh, that's the only argument. I know there's many different themes going on with that one concept, but I'm just saying, without me being ignorant, I just kind of contextualized a part of one of the arguments and said, is there a point here? And I thought, actually, I agree with that point. And I agree with it. But like I said, that's not the only point in it. There's many different points that I don't agree with.
You know, Alchemist, I'm going to come back to you in a second.
Yep.
Before I'm actually going to go to NGBantz. I know you had a point. Then I'm going to be. In fact, NGBantz. Let me read the message first. I'm going to come to you next. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me read the message. I'm going to come to NGBantz. So there's quite a few messages, and I don't want to miss them. So forgive me. I'm going to come to NGBantz next. All right. So the Empty Podcast says, is there a difference between nationalism and racism? And do the marchers know the difference? Okay. Alex Houghton says, "I'll get it now. Yeah, the guy spoke out after to clear up what he meant. Second generation Jamaican. Within colonized countries pay less tax than we do here, born in England." Gina Bay says, "I respect your stand on it 100. The Empty Podcast says, "Isn't there an element of reaping what you sow, though? As in, if the British have gone away and taken from other places and pillage everything, is it about reparations, fancy, or allowing people to come here and make a better life?" Gina Bay says, if I hear you're bright, hang on, let me read that again. If I hear you're bright, you mean, if I hear you right, I think you're trying to say, you mean taking away opportunity for people here who already struggle to find opportunity. Awakening my heart through my soul says, that is what is happening in Australia at the moment and why everyone is upset. We have housing and food crisis, many hardworking families homeless, and they are flooding Australia with immigrants. Gina says, you mean someone who is here reaping the benefits of the UK but not paying in the way taxpayers have to? I Am Blue Rodriguez says, either taking the jobs they don't want or don't qualify for. Awakening my heart through my soul says, providing housing and jobs and phones, etc. Why people here are struggling. The reason is that immigrants will be grateful and vote for those we need out of Parliament. Alex Houston says, there's quite a lot of messages, my goodness.
Rotted.
And he got glasses now as well, makes it worse.
Damn it.
There's tax on everything here in the UK. Regardless, they're paying tax, LOL. Gina Bailey says, part of the problem is that there's something no way. Hang on, read that again. Part of the problem is there's sometimes no way to do a background check or even get correct aid certificates. Alex says, wages tax, food tax, bills tax, inheritance tax. Fair enough. NGBantz, sorry about that. Apologies, I want to make sure we do the messages. I'm going to come to you. I know you have something to say. So, NGBantz, I'm coming to you.
No, I think with the legal and illegal migration thing is it's interesting because the reason why we have so-called illegal immigration right now is because the last government actually illegally shut down the routes for people to come through. So without going too much into it, but the whole reason why we've got this crisis is because a lot of people were fleeing from Syria and other places were getting bombed. They all migrating, and then they're trying to come across because they are allowed to claim asylum. So them coming over on the boat is not actually illegal. They're only classed as an illegal person if when they get to the UK, the asylum is not granted.
Yeah.
So at that point, that is when they're illegal. So these migrants in the hotel, they're not illegal. That point just needs to get people get confused on it, but they're not, because they're not illegal until the asylum's not been granted to them. Also, whilst they're waiting to be claiming asylum, they're not taking your jobs because they're not allowed to work.
Yeah.
They're not using up your resources at the dentist and the NHS. They haven't got access to it.
Exactly.
So using up your resources, it's not happening at all. As I said earlier, like when you actually look in numbers, because you've got to remember, like migration happens on a big number. So we're talking like hundreds of thousands a day will be moving around. Of that, you'll be saying that people coming over on the boats. We had one of the biggest days was 400 the other day. So when you look at the number, it's insignificant. It's a drop in the ocean. But the reason why the government and everyone homes in on them is because it's an easy target to sort of say, well, no, the reason why after 12 years of austerity, the reason why after we had the recession from the financial crash in 08, 09, we've never recovered from that, and unsuccessful. Rather than blaming ourselves, we're going to point the finger at these lot and get you worked up and blaming those. When in actual fact,
100%.
it's not them. You're looking in the complete wrong place. And
Agreed.
the argument is it's just mad.
No, 100%. The thing is, when they
It's
come
mad.
into this country, they're very limited on what they can do. Like I said, I live in Wales, and there's a very large Somali community here. The reason why they're here is because the Welsh did some bullshit to them and owe them. It's like, you know what? This is why I see the difference between, obviously, sometimes the Welsh government, they will kind of sort of follow on from the English government, but they take a while to get there, because English do some fuckery on a daily basis, whereas Wales actually look at it and they actually do listen to the people as well. And they're like, okay, it's a little bit far-fetched. You know what I mean? It's very rare. Like people say, oh, Wales is a racist place and stuff. And I don't really hear anyone saying, oh, they're taking our job, or they're doing, they're doing this, that, and the other. They're very supportive of immigrants who come into the country because they come with fuck all. They ain't got nothing. They ain't taking your job. Like, listen, do you know Bob down the road who's never worked a day in his life claiming universal credit, yeah, and doing up the malt and pip and all that, yeah? But my guy, back in his own country, my guy was a surgeon, bro. And he's come over here and he can't practice because he hasn't got the correct papers. But yet Bob's saying, he took my job. No, Bob, he didn't, babes. He didn't take your job. Let's, you know what I mean? Let's dumb it down a little bit. You get me? Let's speak in layman terms. That is exactly what it is. It really gets to me when they say they're taking all our jobs. No, they're not. They're not. You've never even done that job. Spell the job. Spell the job. Tell me the job title. You don't even know it. And that's where I get frustrated on that side of it. I've got no problem with people. Listen, like I said, my grandparents came to this country to seek asylum. Yeah, that's what they did. And big them up, they worked every single day of their lives until they died, literally, yeah. But you have got, listen, from the time you can go into a next man's country and bomb the place, fuck up the place, rape the women, do shit to the kids, yeah, you owe them something, so let them come here. What? What they gonna do? The world fucked anyway. The government's fucked anyway, innit? Well, what difference is it gonna make? None.
Well, yeah, agree with
100%.
you both. In fact, Chidzz, I want you to do, right, the thing that NGBantz said, I want you to clip that and post that clip, because I think NGBantz said in that
Yeah.
moment was
Yeah.
spot on. was
Yeah.
correct.
Don't tell
I'm
me
gonna
what.
tell you a little
Don't
story,
tell me
right?
what to do. Don't tell me what
Oh,
to do,
excuse me.
Stick. Yeah.
Yeah. We're not gonna go there. You're not gonna bait me out like that. It's not gonna happen. Yeah. You can't bait me out like that. You're from a small island, okay?
Oh,
The
Sticky.
whole
We're gonna speak.
Caribbean.
We're gonna speak about that in a
There's the
minute.
whole Caribbean of all the other islands except Jamaica. They're all cousins. There's 27 of you told. I told you that this earlier on today. Yeah, if you don't know. I saw this thing, right? This post. Right? I'm gonna tell you about a post I saw, which hopefully, I hope you understand where I'm coming from, right? And the post has got 3 people in the picture. And in the picture, you got a picture of an old rich man. Yeah. And again, I give for context, he's got an old rich white man, right? He's got all the coins. Like, say he's got 10 coins. And then you got a young white guy who maybe have like 3 coins, gold coins. And there's a black man who's got 1 coin. And the rich white man is saying to the poorer white guy, saying, the reason why you're poor is because of him. Yeah, it's all that misdirection. So NGBantz talking about immigration. Actually, it's not the problem. Immigration is not the problem. He said there's a small number drop in the ocean, but it's an easy thing to try and say that's the problem. Because you remember when we had Brexit, they said, oh, when we leave the UK, EU, we're going to have all this money for the NHS and all these new hospitals. Have any of you seen a new hospital yet? Have any of you seen one new hospital?
No, it's a smoke screen.
Exactly. So when we're talking about immigrants and immigration taking our jobs and doing this and the other, it's all the BS, right? That's why I challenge it, because actually I want to see what people's views are. Is it because someone's taking your jobs, or it was the job? Tell me what job it is that they're taking that you want. Because the Uber driver comes to my house, or the delivery driver comes to my house on the bicycle, has never been, he's always from another country. Yeah, big him up. Yeah, as I said, when I go to the nightclub, yeah, and I go to the bathroom, and the uncle's there with the sweets and lollipops and the Jean Paul Gaultier perfume, ask for £1. Again, yeah. So I go to, and I know Alchemist mentioned going to the hospital, NHS. Well, actually, I'm sure a lot of the nurses and doctors are from overseas.
Yeah.
So right, that queue we're talking about, right? That queue will be even longer if we sent everyone home. So
100%. What 100%. What I think, because you're right, and the gentleman in the left-hand corner, is it Bantz?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
I
he's
can't, I
massive. He's
can't,
not
I
you
well.
can't,
school
I can't
NG
see.
Bantz. Ah, right, okay. But yeah, you school me up on the difference between illegal and, because I didn't actually know. I'm just listening to the rhetoric, and I don't know what people's versions of it is to it not.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily, even though I had that view, I don't care in it. I pretty much have the same view as you, mister. You messed up people's country, and it is what it is. They can come in and do what they want. I'm just trying to put I've been in the box where I'm like, nah, you man are just making noise about things. As I've grown older, and I'm a youth worker in it, so I understand that even when there's a madness going on between 2 parties, and even if I see one party going on mad, and I know that person's in the wrong, and my job is to work with both parties in it. So I have to listen to both parties, even if I think one party is just chatting nonsense.
Yes, and this is the thing. We have to listen to both sides. Even though we might not like what they're saying, each side has a valid point. You're going to find validation somewhere in both. You're going to find, you're going to find right and wrong in both sides. So it's down to you to decide, like, kind of decipher which opinion to go with. Or you could just respect the two. Literally, you can respect it. And, a lot of people, like before, I've had conversations with people, and I'm like, Trump is an absolute narcissist. He's nuts, he's crazy, yeah? But couple things my man have said that I agree with. I'm not even gonna lie. I won't say what they are, but because we're not on that side of it. But sometimes, yeah, do you know when a mental person or somebody who's portrayed as absolutely nuts or whatever, they all say there's one thing that they're gonna say that makes sense. Just like Ginger J, there were a couple of things I agreed with what he said, and as soon as I voiced that, everyone wants to jump down your throat. Why? Because you actually have a level of understanding of certain things.
That's it. It's the grey areas in conversations. I don't think many people are comfortable with being in the grey area, which is, it's a bit oxymoron, paradoxal. That actually I agree with both sides. It's almost like you're not allowed to agree with both sides. But you're not allowed to be contradictory or hypocritical in your view. It's like I'm hypocritical in my view on a lot of things. At times I don't even know why I am. I just agree with that, but actually I agree with that.
Yeah.
And then someone will say, well, how can you agree with that and agree with... It's a bit like his mum, when people said, oh, well, he must hate his mum, or why wouldn't you... How can your mum be an empress, but then you don't agree with certain things? My mum's an empress, but I wouldn't want a woman like my mum. And there's a lot of things that I don't agree with how my mum moves. So why can't you have that paradoxical view without it seeming too mad, without it seeming like, well, if you hate your mum, that must mean that if you hate your mum and your mum's black, well, you must hate black women. Like,
but
how do
this
you
is
get
the
to that
thing.
conclusion?
We've become conditioned, haven't we? And like Blue's made a point. Yeah, she said two things can and must exist at once. This is what I mean. Without light, there's no darkness. Without love, there's no hate. Do you get me? Without black, there's no white. And this is how it is. It's kind of, we know that we have to coexist with these things, yeah, and these notions, but we choose not to. We choose to pick a side, and we're forced to pick a side as well. And it's that we have to do that. We have to stop conforming. We really do. The conformity is starting to piss me off as I'm getting old. I ain't got no patience, not gonna lie.
Yeah, can we reside in the contradiction? You know, the Bible, I'm not getting into religious debates, but I have a lot of Christians and Muslim friends.
Yeah.
And a lot of the contention is which ideology is the most non-contradictory. And in my brain, I like the idea that, oh, actually, there's certain contradictions that I agree with and I like. Oh, well, no, you can't. That's contradictory, so that can't be right or wrong or this, that, and the third. I'm like, well, I don't know. Just in my head, that just makes sense for me to like that contradiction, that paradox. And I think, I don't know, most people just, I just don't think there's a comfortability in... It's almost like, oh, well, you're a hypocrite. Well, all right, well, you're a hypocrite. So is there a medal? Not a medal, but is there a place for hypocrisy? Is there a place for contradiction? Or do we all have to be... Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, clearly there is. Look at the state of the world. Look at the people who run it. Big contradiction there. Lots of hypocrisy. So why not? Why can't we think like that? Why can't we take elements from, if we're going to split it into two, why can't we take elements from both sides and they coexist, as we said before?
I'm going to be some of his messages. I've got to
So
apologise. I'm going to be some of his messages. Oh,
I
sorry.
was just going to say,
Sorry, Vance.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to get going. I
Yeah,
need
you
to
look mapped up, my brother.
hit my
You need
bed.
to relax.
Apologies. But it's been an absolute pleasure as always.
Yes.
Blessings to you all.
No, go and rest up.
Alchemist, I can't see you, but yeah, it's been good chatting with you. I'll watch it back.
Blessings. Thank you.
Well, definitely, I'll organise a live for us all to come on again when KD's feeling, a little bit better, because right now he's got mouth flu, suffering, he's mashed up. But go and rest
but
up.
love. Have a good night,
bye,
everyone.
KD. Bye now.
See you later, brother.
I'm going to read some of his messages, right? Now, I've got to apologise. My screen's frozen, so I can't see all the messages. So apologies. Right? If I missed your message, I'm sorry. It wasn't on purpose, okay? Gina Bailey says he didn't say he hates his mum. He said he doesn't like attitude. Extraordinary Bree, who earlier said she hates garage, right? So I put that out there. Earlier in the message, I read that message. She said she hates garage. Hence why she wrote the song Little Man. Them sort of things are blasphemous. Anyway, says I take what I resonate with and leave the rest. Okay. Blue Rodriguez says feel better soon to NGBantz. Nad says rest up. Everyone says rest up. If you haven't already, make sure you check out NGBantz on IG. Just search NGBantz. So yeah, he posts a lot of stuff on there. Actually, a lot of good content as well. So
yeah.
Make sure you do that. Well, look at the time. It is 25 to 11. We've been here for a long time.
Whoa, that's crazy.
I've insulted some of you. So everyone on the live, or everyone today, actually on the chat, has all been Jamaican people or Jamaican descent of some description.
You've gone quiet still.
I've gone quiet.
Oh no, you're back now. Go on.
Okay, there we go. As I said, everyone
everyone that's on this chat right now is of Jamaican descent. Even if you're half Jamaican, half Antiguan, Tahitian, whatever, you're basically Jamaican. You basically choose. I sent someone today, right? I sent someone today who's from Antigua, St. Lucia, and Curacao, right? And I
Oh,
was like,
bro.
you know what? Yeah. I said, you know what? You're half Jamaican, because really and truly, you don't talk about dates, you talk about festival and fried dumpling. Yeah, so you're already Jamaican. You don't even listen to soca, this is dancehall. So you're already, you know what I mean? And as I said to you guys many times that the Caribbean, except Jamaica, is only 27 people and they're all cousins. Ned says, I'm African
Yeah, its
descent.
volume is low.
Africa's a very big place. Like, you know, what is she from Sierra Leone? She's Sierra Leone? Or no, she's from Ivory Coast, isn't it? I think she's from Ivory Coast.
Yes, Sticky.
Yeah.
Sticky, you're fucking up, man. You're literally putting your mouth on all these people, these different people from these beautiful places in the different islands. Sticky, me and you have had so many arguments about this, yeah. I think we're gonna have to have a battle one-on-one because, like I said, my grandfather is from Antigua. My grandmother is from St. Kitts, yeah. And I will beat those big islands. I don't care.
Kitts,
They're
yeah.
not small. Like, yeah, St. Kitts, my grandmother. Like, and St. Kitts is fuckery, Sticky. You go there, yeah? Go, I'm gonna send you there. Go there, Sticks. You won't come back. Bad man island, you know.
Probably the size of Peckham or something like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like Cardiff. You could do it in a day.
They said my mic's low. I think it's my headset. I think the battery might be dying. That's why.
Okay.
I'll speak a little louder though. Yeah. What did 50 Cent say? If you listen a little louder, I ain't got to speak up for you to hear me. Or something like that. Oh, I remember what he said. Something like that. Something like that. Alex Hughes says, "I'm from the seed of Jacob."
Yes.
Where's that?
Sticky. We need to go with
Israel.
Arena, my brother.
Where is that? Is that Jerusalem? I don't know.
So, I'll tell you what. No, here's a little. This is going to be a little bit of homework for you. Go and find out what that is.
The seed of Jacob. I don't know, yeah. But it ain't Jamaica, so it doesn't matter.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, it's not Jamaica. It doesn't matter. Remember, the Caribbean is only Jamaica. Just don't forget that the Caribbean is only Jamaica. It's only rice and peas, jerk chicken, fried dumplings, curry goat, oxtail. Yeah?
Sticky, Antigua, yeah, has 365 beaches, one for every day of the year, yeah. Don't ditch.
One very person on the island.
No. It's getting overrun by the Chinese right now. I'm not gonna lie.
We're not going there.
You said Cuba.
Yeah, but Cuba's not really. That's more America. It's over there, isn't it? Cuba's not really. You know,
South America.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, you know, it's like.
You're gonna get into. Oh my God!
If it's your first time ever coming across to me, you know, I'm just joking. I'm all love.
Please don't take him seriously. Don't cancel him. But if you do want to cancel him, please do, because he gets on my nerves.
Yeah. All love.
But yeah, Cuba in West Indies actually.
Yeah, but it's like Croydon. It's like saying Croydon and London, you know what I mean? It's just like
Croydon's a simulation at this point, man. It's not even a real place right now. It's not even a real place. Let's be real. But I definitely think these are the kinds of conversations that I really want to be having, and like, you know, where we kind of delve in and just learn a bit more, because we everything is a learning experience, isn't it? We can all learn something from it. And I just think that Alex, big up Alex Horton, because Alex, we actually need to do a TikTok live at some point as well. I have been meaning to message you, but life has been doing the most. This, you know, it's crazy. But yeah, I definitely think I'd love to get KD back, and, you know, Alchemist, if you're up for it, to do a little part 2 at some point, because I think there's so many things to talk about.
Yeah, 100%, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate the airtime.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate you jumping on. Do you get me? Like I said, I see your posts and stuff. You see you're a very high vibing person, and you're willing to learn, and you're also a leader too. So yeah, man, let's do it. That's what we gotta do. Yes, big up, guys. Thank you in the comments. The guys in the comments are the best, though, isn't it? Like, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't even fuck with Sticky.
No, and just to say, I like the format because it's important to have the format where we can go back and forth. I know I made a little something of it, but I just think the world's lacking in that. There's too much sensationalism and too much not willing to listen, and communication I view as, you know, one of the most important things. And when we're not kind of interpreting things right,
100%, and we explain. Yeah, we can explain it, and as well as communication is key, but also comprehension is too. 100% comprehension is too, and this is what I love. I do love the feedback that I get from doing these lives. I haven't done a live for ages on Whole Division because I'm very focused on Four Pretty Minds at the minute. But I do love, you know, when we come over to this platform and we have these kind of conversations, because it's like some people are quite scared to say certain things. They're quite scared to open themselves up to, you know, conversations that are of a certain intellectual level. But yeah, man, I love this, and I appreciate you. Thank you. Big up to the Empty Podcast, though. We need to do something. 100%. We need to definitely do a little collaboration at some point. But yeah, man, big up to everybody out there who's having a high vibing conversations and things that actually matter and not talking foolishness. You get me? Sticky says, vibes cartel over everyone. Not nice.
Guys, on that note, before my headset cuts out, it was good catch up with you all. Yeah, I'll speak to you all soon.